Two guitar tones can both sound good alone, but when you blend them together, sometimes they sound horrible. And this kept happening to me, and I would have one amp tone with body and then one with bite, and then somehow when I put them together, the result got smaller or thinner or just generally weirder, not better. I got tired of guessing why, so I built a plugin that could answer these questions that I kept running into. Are these two tones actually working together? Is one late? Is a polarity wrong? Is a body lining up? Because then the pick attack would also not line up. Or am I just forcing them both together and that were never going to work in the first place? Right now, I use it mostly for NAM captures or amp sims or IR chains, you know, um, parallel guitar tones inside Reaper. What it does is it takes two stereo guitar sources and it analyzes how they line up. It checks the timing, checks the polarity, and it looks at the body of the sound. And it also looks for the pick edge when it can find it, and then it gives me a pair fit score. So, and the score is not telling me what I'm allowed to like. It's not a magic best tone button. You know, it's just trying to answer a practical question like are these two tones mechanically cooperating, or are they fighting each other and comb filtering and doing a bunch of other weird stuff. So here's the basic idea. Here is Here's the Diesel VH4, the body, and the JCM 800 we got for the bite. And let's take a listen. So we heard those both independently sound awful because I have them scooped out. I mean, they're not too bad, but I have them heavily scooped so they wouldn't clash with one another as much. Um, and now I'm trying to put them together here to see what the end result is. So both of them independently very usable, but when we add them together, sometimes blend gets hollow, the low mids disappear, the attack gets smeared. It's just guitar tone, it just got a lot less real, even though like I added more sound. So I've ran the analyzer here and we can see that right off the bat, one of them is out of polarity or phase with the other one by the opposite margin. So it flipped it. Let's see, polarity inverted it, flipped it here. Whoop. And now we are generally lined up in phase. And moved aside 6 samples. That's not gonna be too much of an auditory issue. But what definitely will be is if you have two amp sims and then then they become out of phase by whatever your effects chain is or just by how it was captured. So let's take a listen, a look and a listen again at both of these tones with the offset. Well, I'm just gonna sample them, after analyzation and before analyzation here. So we can tell right off the bat that it has improved the mechanical nature of these waves to reinforce musically what we want from them. So this plugin, what it does is it gives me the delay target, tells me how much it's delaying it. It tells me if the pair is worth building around. And usually if I have my gain level set wildly different, it's gonna have a hard time trying to find a relationship between the two because that's what it's looking for. It's looking for a relationship between these two tones so we can put them together in the most coherence possible. So in hopes that it will musically sound better. So that's the whole reason I built this. Not to replace ears or to pretend that tone is like an objective, where you got to get a tone score or something. But I just wanted to solve these three nasty problems of timing, polarity, or just a general bad pair. And it started in Rocksmith with their horrible tones, and then it started, and then in Reaper, and then Nam, and then a lot of awful tones that I thought were good at the time. But I wanted my guitar to sound and feel bigger, but I didn't understand why some plans worked and others completely fell apart, and it was like a huge black box mystery to me. So this tool is me trying to solve that problem in a way that I can actually visualize, and hopefully in a way that other people can use too. Because I want to release this, for everyone to use if it's useful to them. When it's ready, I'll have a beta ready very soon, probably in about a week or so. It's still in development. I don't want to make too many promises. But like I said, my goal is simple. I just want to help guitar players, NAM users, like amp sim people, figure out whether two tones are actually worth blending. Because two tones alone don't automatically make one good tone together, and that's a problem. Because sometimes you're testing two tones and you're like, I know these would go good together. And then you test them out and you're like, what is this? This tool will definitely help make unambiguous a lot of different things about your two NAM captures and your tones in general. So it's a very useful in that regard. So this is my attempt to answer all those questions and to just make the whole process much easier, funner, and faster to mix your guitar tones.